Apple's iPhone 15 series is here. And as usual, we have 4 new phones in this series. 2 non-Pro iPhone models, then an iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is Apple's premium smartphone offering, with titanium and an entirely new camera, the main improvements over the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The 2023 update to Apple's iPhone range has made a bit of a departure from the norm, with Apple including a feature specific to the iPhone 15 Pro Max that the others do not have. The enhanced zoom capability will make the model even more attractive to photographers and videographers. While Apple does usually make changes to its Pro lineup each year, this serves to be a bigger change than usual, especially when you consider it's just for this model. iPhone 15 Pro Max versus iPhone 14 Pro Max. An iPhone 15 Pro Max versus iPhone 14 Pro Max comparison will help you figure out what's new with Apple's flagship. And there's a lot to talk about because Apple has made some significant changes to its top-of-the-line phone. Right off the top, the iPhone 15 Pro Max introduces a new A17 Pro processor along with camera improvements, a titanium design, and a new way to charge the phone via USB-C. Improving on the iPhone 14 Pro Max is a tall order. That phone takes outstanding photos, lasts a long time on a charge, and delivers the best performance we've seen from a smartphone. Design. Apple has opted for an all-new titanium build for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, therefore ditching the stainless steel frame of the previous iPhone 14 Pro Max. There's nothing wrong with the iPhone 14 Pro Max's stainless steel sides, but we're excited that Apple's turning to titanium for the iPhone 15 Pro Max chassis. So why has Apple decided to switch allegiance to titanium? The brand claims the titanium material allows it to reduce the weight of the phone. This rings true in the specs, with the iPhone 15 Pro Max said to weigh 221 grams and the iPhone 14 Pro Max hitting the scales at 240 grams. Apple also suggests a titanium build is sturdier, boasting one of the highest strength-to-weight ratios of any metal. In addition to titanium, the new Pro Max includes aluminum in its frame to help with heat dissipation. Apple made some other changes to the iPhone 15 Pro Max design. The edges are contoured, which should make the handset more comfortable to hold. Some users have complained about the sharper, squared-off edges of the iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max, which can dig into your hands. Displays. The iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch all-screen OLED display, namely Apple's Super Retina XDR display. At 2,796 by 1,290 pixels, the screen has a pixel density of 460 pixels per inch. For the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the specifications are effectively identical, with the same size and resolution as the year-ago model. The OLED screen in both devices has a contrast ratio of 2 million to 1, as well as a brightness that has a typical maximum of 1,000 nits, 1,600 nits at a peak for HDR content, or up to 2,000 nits of peak brightness when you're outdoors. Apple used an always-on screen for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which displays a standby screen when the device is sleeping, so that users can see some important information at a glance without fully waking it. ProMotion support was also included, offering adaptive refresh rates that go up to 120 Hz, depending on the type of content viewed on the screen. All of these return in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. At the top of the iPhone 14 Pro Max's screen was a dynamic island, the replacement for the notch that added more interactive UI elements. With a year on the clock, it's back once again and will benefit from iOS 17's tweaks. Wide color P3 support, True Tone, HDR support, and a fingerprint resistance oleophobic coating are also included in the iPhone 14 Pro Max and iPhone 15 Pro Max displays. USB-C. Apple confirmed what everyone suspected. Lightning is making way for a USB-C port on its new phones. And while the regular iPhone 15 gets that feature too, only the Pro models support USB 3 for data transfer speeds of up to 10 gigabytes per second. That's a 20 times improvement over the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Alas, that doesn't seem to speed up charging any. New zoom lens. Apple has upgraded the camera for the iPhone 15 Pro Max with a 5x optical zoom. Apple claims this is the longest optical zoom ever, allowing you to take more detailed photos of faraway objects. The end result is a telephoto lens on the iPhone 15 Pro Max that can deliver 5 times optical zoom. While that's not as big as what had been rumored, it's certainly a step up from the 3 times zoom on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Camera improvements don't stop there. The main sensor on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is bigger than before, which should allow it to capture more light in tricky settings. While you can continue to capture images at their full 48MP resolution, both iPhone 15 Pro models capture images at 24 megapixels by default and let users choose different focal lengths. Meanwhile, computational photography improvements abound on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. You don't need to switch to portrait mode to take portrait shots, as the phone will detect automatically when there's a person, dog, or cat in the frame. Night mode promises sharper details, while Smart HDR gets an update to feature more accurate skin tones and brighter highlights. Action button. The iPhone 14 Pro Max's switch for silencing calls is now an action button on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And while it still can silence your calls by default, you can now customize it for other functions. The action button can give you quick access to features like the camera or flashlight on your phone. You can also use it to switch between focus modes, trigger accessibility features, or record a voice memo. The button works with the Shortcuts app on your phone for more customization options as well. A17 Pro Chip. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has been treated to a performance boost thanks to the inclusion of a new A17 Pro chip. This new processor offers a 10 times CPU performance increase and 20 times GPU upgrade compared to the A16 Bionic chip that powers the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The new iPhone 15 Pro Max has such a powerful performance that it can now run games such as Resident Evil 4 Remake, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. These games won't be playable on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Battery life. Regarding battery life, the iPhone 15 Pro Max outperforms the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This progress is partly due to the groundbreaking 3nm A17 Bionic chip, which promises a 35% increase in power efficiency over the A16 Bionic. Although iPhone 15 Pro Max may not have huge bump in battery capacity compared to iPhone 14 Pro Max, lots of increases of battery life are likely come from the A17 Bionic chip. In addition, the iPhone 15 Pro Max includes cutting-edge stacking battery technology in its architecture. It allows a greater milliamp hour capacity while preserving the same streamlined form factor. Consequently, customers can anticipate a significant boost in battery life. iPhone 15 Pro Max will be an intriguing alternative for those looking for lengthy hours of uninterrupted use. This combination of cutting-edge hardware refinements solidifies the iPhone 15 Pro Max as a trailblazer for long-lasting and efficient battery performance. Price. You didn't expect all these changes to the iPhone 15 Pro Max without some pressure to increase the price, did you? Indeed, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is the only new iPhone to see a price increase, coming in at $100 above the iPhone 14 Pro Max's $1,099 starting price. Apple hopes to take the sting out of that $1,199 price tag by giving you more storage out of the gate. The base model iPhone 15 Pro Max has 256 gigabytes of capacity, compared to 128 gigabytes on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is available for pre-order on Friday, September 15, with the phone hitting stores on September 22nd. Apple dropped the iPhone 14 Pro Max from its lineup, but you can still find it at wireless carriers and retailers. Now that it's here, we can confirm that the new iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers some pretty substantial upgrades over the iPhone 14 Pro Max, including the design, performance, and cameras. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is definitely shaping up to be a killer phone. If you are on an older iPhone, then it will be an awesome jump. If you've never had an iPhone, it would be the most impressive starting point. Thank you for watching the video, and that is all for this one. If you find this video helpful in any way, give a huge thumbs up. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos by subscribing to our channel. See you guys in the next one.